Labour MP Stella Creasy has caused a storm by taking her 3-month-old baby into the House of Commons, leading to the exposure of the so-called Commons baby ban after being reprimanded by parliamentary officials.
Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority refused to fund appropriate maternity cover for myself on the basis that people needed to be able to speak in the chamber. Yet today, in order to speak, I have had to abandon my baby proxy leave vote, or else be reprimanded by the House authorities for speaking in the chambers, making Parliament one of the few workplaces in this country where when a new mother comes in to do a Keep in Touch Day, she is rebuked, not supported.
Was to be changed, she took her son Pip to the Late Night Spectator magazine Parliamentarian of the Year Awards. That's just weird, right? Well, there has been backlash too, of course, with Tory MP Scott Benton questioning while Stella, who claimed she doesn't have maternity cover, needed to bring her son to work, saying parents who get paid a fraction of what you do pay for childcare and juggle responsibilities so they can go to work. What makes you so special? So tonight, we're asking, should mums be able to take their babies to work? With me to debate this is television and radio broadcaster Bev Turner, former political consultant and writer Suzanne Evans, and professional former Strictly dancer Christina Rianoff. Bev Turner, I agree with you on most things, but I just cannot understand the logic of why someone should be able to take their baby to work. I'm sorry, if one of my staff members was cradling a little baby when they were trying to help me put my show together, I would not be impressed.
I think listening to her talk, and when you actually see the pieces that she's written since that occasion, I think it's very clear that Stella doesn't feel that she had a choice. And that's where this whole system, I think, goes wrong, because Parliament has to drag itself into the 21st century. We shouldn't really, in a way, we shouldn't be talking about this as a mother's issue. We should be talking about it as a parent's issue, first and foremost, because remember, guys, like, men have babies too. And I would love to see a dad with a 3-month-old baby as an MP in Parliament, just to even this out a little bit. But there's no particular reason why she shouldn't be there. There's no suggestion that she has done a bad job. There's no suggestion that she was distracted. The baby is only 3 months. They are very portable at that age. She wasn't running around with a toddler playing with Lego on the floor and distracting everybody. She's done what she feels is the best to the best of her ability, which mothers are doing every single day. And for me, it's just about getting more women into politics, more women to feel welcomed by that world, which is incredibly old-fashioned. It's completely anachronistic. We watch the debates in the House of Commons, and there are more men that are behaving like babies, yelling at each other across the benches than that baby did. He was quieter than most of them. So
that I do agree with you on, absolutely. Suzanne Evans, I'm sorry, where does this end? I mean, OK, maybe a baby isn't that distracting at 3 months old, but they certainly are when they get older and start crawling. You'd be able to bring your toddler, your 4-year-old to work. I mean, come on. It's a full-time job, isn't it, being a mum or a dad, and you should just have to get childcare.
Yeah, I think that's right. The way I see it, Dan, is that Stella Creasy could only do this because she is actually a very privileged woman. She's a middle-class, professional, liberal woman who thinks she can get away with it because of the actual job she does, which, let's not forget, is incredibly highly paid. And let's be in no doubt, she can afford good childcare. Now, I think if she was working flipping burgers, if she was working on a factory floor, or if she was a bus conductor, she would not be able to take her baby to work. It simply would not be allowed. And neither would she be able to take her baby to work if she was working in a more, let's put it, highly pressured job. If she was
a pilot, for example,
or a theatre surgeon, or a nurse, absolutely. So my worry about this is here we have an already very privileged woman trying to claim more privilege. And I think actually making even more divisions in society, because most women who earn she does, and let's be honest, she makes almost 3 times the national average wage as a member of Parliament. Women who cannot do this are once again going to be put, or are, at a disadvantage. And they don't complain. They get on with their job. They work hard. They find childcare. And, of course, their partners get involved. And I'm sure Stella Creasy's partner is a wonderful dad. But where was he? Where was he?
Well, let me bring Christina Rianoff in. Christina, you can be the tie break here. Who do you agree with? Are you with Bev or are you with Suzanne?
I'm actually agree with both. That's true, because I can
Okay,
see
good.
both parts of the story. At work, at my place, I have a crash, and actually my instructors sometimes do leave children there because they're simply single moms. They don't have any help, and we provide that kind of service. It's there because we provide it for my members at Wellbeing Centers, so it's also there for instructors. I do not have an issue with that because I'm also working mom, and I understand that. Babies at 3 months probably okay. Toddlers are not, because they are crazy. They go around. They peek on everything. It's going to be just a chaos there. But I agree that the childcare issue has to be raised because it's so expensive. The childcare is very expensive. For me, nowadays, I don't go anywhere simply because Ben and I will always work. And for us to pay someone, it's really hard. You have to find somebody with flexible hours. It's a lot of money. And we don't have much support and by other family members. So it's always a big question for us to go out or just stay home.
And I understand how difficult that sacrifice is. But Bev Turner, let's look at last night. You've got the spectator bash. Now, I know what the MPs are like at an awards do like that. They are downing the booze. They are acting quite inappropriately. Is it not just plain weird that Stella Creasy took a baby into an environment like that rather than saying, actually, I'm a mum, I'm going to make a sacrifice and miss this event, or I'm going to pay for a babysitter?
She's breastfeeding. She's breastfeeding. What can we say?
Help.
You know, she's breastfeeding Dan. She can still be there as an MP and drink her water and not get drunk like all the other MPs are free to do. She is making a sacrifice by even being there. She is compromised already by the fact that she's choosing to be there in a slightly different capacity. And I really hope everybody in the room wasn't judging her. You know, when the babies are that little, they don't need to be down in a cot. She would have had a pram that he I think it's a boy, that he or she could sleep in. She's look at her, she's knackered. She's a hard-working mum. This is what mums do. That's why they need to be in more positions of power, because we're really blooming capable and we can do 6 different things at once and still do them well. So I applaud her for raising awareness of this issue.
This was just a big piss up. I mean, come on. This isn't going to work, is it? I mean, Suzanne, would you feel uncomfortable? Suzanne, would you feel uncomfortable if you ran an event like that on a table, there were loads of people getting drunk, and then someone brought their baby?
To be honest, Dad, in that particular situation, I'd rather it was a baby there than maybe a teenager or an older child, because babies, they won't know about people getting drunk and it will just all wash over them and it won't be an issue, really. So I don't think that's really the point. I think the point is, you know, when is it appropriate and when is it not appropriate to have childcare? And I'd say in that particular issue, whatever the age of the child, it's appropriate to have childcare. And to be honest, I'd like to say to Sir Creasy, absolutely. Childcare is very, very difficult. But government policy, actually, and successive, not just the Conservative government, but the previous Labour government policy too, have actually made it much more difficult for women to get affordable childcare, partly through the childcare voucher scheme, which subsidises childcare, which inevitably, therefore, makes it more expensive because it puts up the baseline cost of care. I think that's something that should be looked at. And also because of the excessive regulation. You're not allowed to place your child with an unregistered childminder or someone who isn't Ofsted registered. So that means you can't use those childcare vouchers to take advantage of paying family or friends, aunties, uncles, whoever, who might be best placed to
which does seem ridiculous, Christina, but I presume before you made the decision to start a family, you and Ben did have a conversation about the cost of childcare and the likely sacrifices that you would have to make and who was going to work. And obviously, to me, this isn't a male-female issue because, of course, blokes can take paternity leave now if they choose to.
Yeah, it is definitely a parent issue. And I think, but another thing we have to take in consideration is the mother's well-being, because to separate from the child when the child is only 3 months old is really hard. I remember when the first time I went to a wedding, friend's wedding with Ben, and Mila was only 3, I hated the whole night. I could not enjoy myself because I was on the phone checking with the childcare.
So, Bev Turner, am I just being heartless here? Am I not understanding this because I'm not a parent? Is that what this is?
I I think so, Dan. And I think what's happened over the years, I remember writing an essay about this at university 20 years ago, about the fact that feminism had failed mothers because the feminists of the day who fought so hard for economic parity, for reproductive health and rights over our fertility, none of them were mums. And so this part of the conversation, nobody was shouting, get dads to look after their kids. But we are out making money with the men. Who is looking after the kids? And this has to be, should parents be able to take their babies to work? As soon as we can get rid of the female problem, we will make massive changes.
Okay. Yeah, and I would clarify as well, if it was a one-off, if someone was unable to do the babysitting, I would understand that. But I'm sorry, I would have serious question marks even after this discussion if someone was bringing their baby to work every day. Fascinating debate, though. That was telling.
Well, I'm going to get you round to babysit. I'm going out tomorrow night. You need some experience. You can come here and babysit.
I'm a great babysitter as long as I'm not working.
You and can babysit for an hour.
No, I love it. I'm up for that. Former political consultant and writer Suzanne Evans and professional former Strictly Come Dancing performer Christina Rianoff. Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.